And we are back on the road to glory, 1 week closer to the start of the playoffs. Here we are, Tuesday, December 16th. Game kickoff this Friday. And I'm excited, man. I'm your host, Sean. I'm joined today, as usual, by Steph. No Haas this week, but Steph, your Ducks, they're flying high. They're getting ready to take on the mighty Dukes of JMU, the fighting Billy Napiers and co. Um, how you feeling? I know there's some massive leaks, if you want to call them leaks, in the Oregon community about some people practicing for the first time and some people practicing after a long time. But what are the overall vibes? How you feeling going into the game this week? Um, what's up?
I feel regardless of the health situation of certain players, mostly Decoria Moore, Garrett Bryant, and Evan Stewart. I feel pretty confident about this game. It's just the game after that I'm a little bit more worried about. But as far as this game, I feel like with whoever we got healthy, we should be able to win pretty dominantly. So I'm not really worried about that. But other than that, I mean, just ready to get these playoffs started. I'm excited. First game is on Friday. We play on Saturday. It's gonna be fun, man.
Yeah, man. I definitely I know. Although you guys don't have the most enticing matchup, it's still playoff football. Still another game at Alton. And I know a few other fan bases feel the same way. Any opportunity to compete, especially championship football,
Right.
is great. Get to see my future head coach go to battle with Ole Miss. We'll pick some of the games later, probably in the second half of the show. First half of the show, not going to be a super long one today, so maybe it won't even break up the show into two parts for this one. But I think we're going to talk a little bit about the awards. Obviously, the Heisman ceremony was this past weekend. Also, a lot of the position awards like the Mackey Award, the Blitnikoff, the Maxwell, that good stuff. Those lists and those awards dropped as well. So we'll run through a few of those names. Any little takes that we have, we'll talk about. Um, and then what did we say after that? I don't remember, but we'll go from there. Obviously, we're
We
gonna
got
miss
a
it.
pretty big clown that we
Yeah,
got to talk about. I mean, we've had clown of the year. I feel like already, but this is clown for 5 years. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I
yeah. No,
mean,
he's definitely clown of the year. You guys all know we're probably insinuating at this point. We're gonna have a pretty long segment for clown of the year. Maybe not long, but it'll be its own segment for sure this week. So be prepared for that. So yeah, let's get into this list. Obviously, the most important award, the most prestigious award in all of college football, the Heisman Trophy, that brotherhood of select players. I think the biggest storyline throughout the year was no one really stood out. Um, no one really separated themselves throughout this entire year. I think some players throughout the year had moments, but I think the consensus was that this was a pretty underwhelming race for the Heisman. But um, I think they got it right, man. I think obviously, you guys all know, maybe you don't know, but Fernando Mendoza, quarterback in Indiana, he hoisted the trophy over Diego Pavia of Vanderbilt, Jeremiah Love of Notre Dame, and Julian Sayin of Ohio State. But yeah, I thought they got it right. I thought Fernando Mendoza, although obviously stats wise, he doesn't stack up to some of the seasons that a lot of these other quarterbacks, a lot of these other players have had. I think impact wise, I think Heisman moment wise, he is the right selection. I mean, I think he had obviously the one that sticks out to a lot of people, the comeback drive against Penn State, where he drove them right down the field in that one. Big win over Oregon. Obviously, the Big Ten championship game, taking that big hit on the first play and just coming back and really willing his team to a victory. Um, I think he is a worthy Heisman. I think obviously if you're tier listing the Heisman's, he might be a little bit lower on some of those tier lists, but um, I think they got it right for sure.
yeah, I agree. I mean, when you look at the other candidates, nobody was really lighting it up on the stat sheet. And so you really got to go to the moments. I mean, because who else was up there? Jeremiah Love. I mean, really?
He
What
was,
are
I think he
we?
was the next clostest one in my opinion. I
Yeah,
don't know
what are
what the
we
actual
even talking? What
standings
moment
were.
did he have though? I mean,
No, none really.
like what game did he take over and just make Notre Dame win?
I mean, they lost pretty
None.
much their important ones, so
Yeah, I mean
none
you
that
lost
matter.
to the two best teams you played. I
Yeah.
mean, and you got a team like Indiana that they went undefeated, won their conference, beat Ohio State, beat Oregon on the road.
Yep.
That and like you brought up the hit at the beginning of the Big Ten championship. I mean, that's a great moment. But to me, the true Heisman moment was that throw that he made at the end of the
At
game
the
to
end of the
ice it.
game.
I mean,
Yeah. No, true.
like that to me was what won the award for him, in my opinion. But I will say this: after all that, I mean, this was probably the worst Heisman race of my entire life. And I've said it before on this podcast. This shouldn't have not even given the award because it just didn't feel like there was a real Heisman race. Like there was no players that it seemed like were competing. I mean, even last year you had the Ashton Genty and Travis Hunter debate. Um, it just didn't seem like there was any player that should have won the award, and this would have been a perfect year for like a defensive player or a lineman or something like that to win the Heisman because nobody on offense really had the crazy stats. But I mean, I can't really complain when those were the finalists. I mean, I wish the linebacker from Texas Tech was up there at least in New York, but um yeah, I think they made the right decision here.
Yeah, for sure. Jacob Rodriguez, he did walk away with some trophies, obviously, taking Defensive Player of the Year, the Chuck Benedict Award, and he also won the Dave Buckus Award as well for the most outstanding linebacker. So did come home with some hardware, but I agree. I think he definitely was snubbed out of a spot in New York for sure. But at the same time, I think there were some dominant defensive players, but I, I think it comes down to, unfortunately, the Heisman committee. I think it's been said before, but a lot of these people don't know ball, and they get votes. It's not like the Heisman committee is some prestigious group of people that maybe only the Heisman winners themselves vote on. Like, no, mad random people have Heisman votes. Like, random people that cover the NFL, people that, like, it's ridiculous. And I think that just would never lean towards a defensive player or offensive lineman or defensive lineman, something like that, um, to winning an award. And it sucks because I think you're right. I mean, we had some pretty dominant trench play. I mean, Arvell Reese, he's not technically in the trenches, he's a linebacker, but he's one that stands out. I mean, he has had a fantastic
Beast,
year. So has
beast.
Caleb Downs. So, like, and their quarterback, who was probably, I don't even know if he's in the top five players, was in New York over both wide receivers, both defenders. Like, that's silly to me. That's super silly to me. It kind of takes away from the prestige of the award a little bit, to be honest. But that's another conversation for another day. Let's keep it moving. The Doak Walker Award obviously goes to Jeremiah Love for the most outstanding running back. Um, The Davy O'Brien Award, National Quarterback Award, goes to Fernando Mendoza. The Bolitnikoff, which I think was probably the most contested award this year, as I think this is a very, very deep wide receiver class. That goes to Makai Lemon. Um, he was a freak out there all year long. USC plays in the Big Ten, a great conference. I think he's definitely deserving of it. He's going to be a great player in the NFL, in my opinion. Eli Stowers, Vanderbilt's tight end, wins the Mackey Award for the most outstanding tight end. And yeah, Spencer Fanu from Utah won the Outland Trophy as well for outstanding interior lineman. So
Who won the Joe Moore Award?
Joe Moore, let me see.
I know Oregon was a finalist for that.
I don't I don't see a Joe Moore. I have to look it up real quick. I skipped Jim Thorpe. Caleb Downs won that. Let me
Oh wow, it was Army. What the heck?
okay.
Oh wait, no. That was 24. Wait, who won 25?
It might not have been picked yet. I know the top
Okay.
assistant in the nation, like the Burroughs Award, hasn't been selected yet. I don't believe. Um, Indiana, Iowa, and Oregon all have earned their position as finalists. I don't on Wednesday, December 10th. No, that's something else.
Yeah, maybe they didn't pick it yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they did, but as best offensive line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not an individual award, it's the whole
It's a team
group.
award. So yeah, it's a group award. But yeah, that is what I got on the reward award side. Obviously, before we make some picks, there has been still some. Did we talk about Matt Campbell to Penn State?
Mm, did we?
I don't know.
We can talk about it. I mean, we can talk about just general coaching carousel, anyways. I mean, you got
What?
Buster Faulkner. Congratulations.
Yes, that was a great hire. Florida has been making a lot of moves, staff wise, but so has most staffs that have changed. A lot of people are building staffs. I'm really liking the way Florida has been building out their staff so far. Um, Obviously, I'm not loving that John Summerall is still at Tulane coaching and focus on a whole other team that he won't be with in the future, but that's part of the game. It is what it is. Kind of ruined on their downfall a little bit this week, but um, I'm really liking the staff that he's built so far. Gotta land good wide receiver coach, good running back coach. We did get a running back coach, I think, recently. Um, gotta land a good wide receiver coach. Retained Dallas Wilson, retained Vernell Brown. You know, go from there. But yeah, Matt Campbell, not to Iowa State, to Penn State. For I don't know, we were kind of laughing at Penn State, wondering what they were gonna do. It kind of felt like they had no plan throughout their whole entire um, this whole entire process. It even feels like from the moment that they fired James Franklin, they it felt very emotional, very reactionary.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt like if they would have really took a second to look and assess the situation, and be honest with themselves, there weren't many candidates out there that were going to be better than James Franklin that they were going to go higher. Um, and It's not a shot at Matt Campbell. We're going to talk about Matt Campbell uh, like himself in a second. I'm just still talking about Penn State, but I just feel like that needs to be a lesson to everybody. And I know Penn State, I think, has like donors that have a lot of power and sway and stuff, but like you just can't do shit without a plan because then you're gonna end up with your hands in your pants and nothing. And while everybody else, I mean, Penn State was the first team to fire their coach. It took them almost 60 days to hire their coach, 2 months. Lost their entire recruiting class, signed two kids, didn't even give their new coach a chance to do anything with this cycle. It's completely
Yeah.
wasted. It's done. I mean, they still have I guess the signing period in February, and there's still a couple of kids out there maybe might be able to flip one or two more that haven't signed yet. But I mean, Penn State is cooked this cycle. They're going to be very portal heavy, and it just doesn't feel like they set up their next coach for success. He's coming into an already shittier situation than what Franklin originally left. Like, I don't know if I feel like anybody could have really took that over and been successful at this point. Now, when I think about Matt Campbell, I think that he's a good coach. Um, Obviously, to have a program like Iowa State, place that hasn't really been relevant my whole entire life, and has been keeping them pretty relevant. But at the same time, he's also underachieved. I think the Big 12 is a conference that has been waiting for a team, waiting for a program to really establish themselves as that perennial contender. And I think there are a few teams that have began to take that step. But Iowa State just no kind of flamed out a little bit. Like I thought they were going to ascend to that this year, and this is the worst year they've had in the past couple of years. Obviously, it's Iowa State. How much can you really do at Iowa State? But when you're in the Big 12, you're playing teams from Kansas. You know what I mean? Like it's not like
Especially this current iteration of the Big 12. There's no more Texas and Oklahoma.
right. So I'm not completely sold on Matt Campbell. Again, I don't think he's a bad coach, but I think he's put in a shit situation, and I'm not sold on him. So I just most coaches fail at when they like take jobs like this. Like this is not anything personal to him. It's just what the odds are saying and kind of what Penn State has left him. I don't know. Do you feel better about the hire than I do?
Not really. I don't really know what to think about it. I can't deny that Matt Campbell has maximized what Iowa State is and probably should be. I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw Josh Pate break it down their whole history that they didn't even really have any winning seasons until Matt
First 11
Campbell.
win season was last year, I think, ever for them.
Yeah, and just let alone that, but just winning 6 games, just winning more than half the games. I think Iowa State was never really able to do that on a consistent basis, and here they are with Matt Campbell doing that year in and year out. So you can't deny that he's really brought them, to a much higher level. But I mean, is this the hire that you wanted after firing James Franklin, who's had you pump
Right.
out 10-win seasons every single year? I mean, I really don't understand. I mean, I think it's like you said, these programs, they do emotional things. Um, you know, they didn't really, I don't think they really understood that, yeah, you're Penn State, but I mean, are you
Definitely over
going to just
definitely
poach any
overestimated
coach
their
from
talent.
their job?
Yeah.
I think and we've talked about this before. Like I think a lot of these teams need to understand that you might have to hire someone who is more of an up and coming coach. Like, everybody brings up Dan Lanning, but it's it's true. It's like, he was not a head coach. He's never been a head coach before getting the Oregon job. He was a coordinator, great recruiter, great coordinator, but you have to do your research as an organization, and we've seen that with this coaching carousel all over. I mean, was did any coach, well, I'm asking the question I was going to ask is, did any coach get a job, get a head coach job that was a coordinator before? And it's funny that both Oregon's coordinators got hired to be head coaches, but it seemed like the trend was really just to hire a head coach from a G5. And we talked about in Florida's case, like I don't know if they're going to do a G5 coach again because of what happened with Billy Napier, but here we are again. They hired John Summerall from Tulane. Um, and well, I guess there's also South Florida that hired Hartline, who was Ohio State's coordinator for one season. But I mean, yeah, it just seemed like a lot of these teams they just wanted to hire head coaches when maybe one of them should have hired a Will Stein or a Brian Hartline,
Well, was
or
Stein did get hired by Kentucky.
right. But I'm saying another team like maybe Auburn should have hired him, or a program that probably thinks that they should be winning more, or Penn State, like Penn State, I think they should be winning national championships. And I don't know if we talked about that clown Pat Kraft, but that leaked audio that he was talking trash about a lot of things and talking trash about Oregon in particular. Um, like these people think they bigger than they are, and I think they weren't able to poach any coach that they really wanted to. I mean, there was always the Kalen DeBoer rumor and things like that, but it's like, yo, nobody is leaving Alabama to go to Penn State, man. You're not getting Signetti like Penn State, and this goes for pretty much every brand. I mean, what do they offer that X school doesn't offer if they're putting the resources towards it? Like if I can already win the conference at Indiana, I don't need to jump to Penn State because the history doesn't really matter, especially nowadays. I think a lot of people that grew up that are like my age or a little older, they kind of had this kind of fake idea that like, the history and the brands and things like that are what all the recruits cared about. But when it comes down to it, I mean, everybody's looking for what's going to be the best opportunity for them. Um, they're not just going to go somewhere because this is a team that had been winning 50 years ago and things like that. And in the days of NIL, that's just more out in the open. And I just think that you have, these kids that, especially when you talk about a team like Penn State, it's like, well, they haven't won a championship in these recruits' lifetime. They didn't grow up remembering Penn State being, national championship contenders. They remember the James Franklin Penn State, which the story around that was not being able to get it done. Um, so I don't know. Like when it comes to Matt Campbell, I don't really know what to think. I'm not
Yeah,
saying that he's going to fail. I think he's going to be. I think Penn State is going to be solid. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be a respectable program. I think that they're going to have winning seasons, but are they going to be able to get over the hump that they want to get over? That remains to be seen.
yeah. I think they grossly misread the new landscape of college football. I think, especially now, more than ever, parity exists. You just have to get into the playoffs. Like you don't have to be the best team. You just have to get in and start playing your best ball and go on a run. That's how these tournaments work. It's not always the team that's been the best all year is going to win the natty. Sometimes, but now with all this amount of teams, with all the variables, you just need to qualify. With James Franklin, Penn State was going to be in the playoffs almost every single year. And
Yep.
last year, they went on one of them runs. They were special. They had a chance. They fell short. This year, obviously, it didn't happen, but that doesn't mean that next year they couldn't have got one of those top 12 seeds and won another run like that. It just seems very short sighted. And I think other programs and other people should take note that it's a different landscape. It's a different world of college football now, like you mentioned. Like it's not the same old college football that we grew up on, for better or worse. Whether you like it or not, it's just it is how it is.
Yeah, it's just a new age, man. It's just a new age. Like these kids, they don't care about what you did 30 years ago. It's different, man. I think a lot of fans got to accept that. You got these people that still live in the past, think that you're this team or that team. It don't matter. What are you doing right now is the question.
All right, so that would mean the biggest job open right now is the Michigan job, and obviously we haven't talked about the Sharon Moore situation. We're kind of waiting on that a little bit. We'll talk about that towards the end of the show, so make sure you stick around for the clown of the week, almost pretty much clown of the year segment, coming up towards the end. But Michigan's open. I don't know much. I haven't really paid much attention to what's going on with their coaching search. Do you have any names or any ideas on who potentially? I know DeBoer came out and put out a statement like, "I'm not looking to leave Bama." He's been a big name. We're behind the scenes potentially. He's wanted to, head out and then leave the South. He's not really, a Southern kind of guy. And who knows? Yada yada. Well, he put that to bed. He said he's focused on Alabama. Who knows if that's true? But what are you thinking about for that Michigan job? Because that's a big job, man. That's a coveted job. Big Ten, one of the top programs in that conference, one of the top programs in the country. Very historic. Still has good results. Obviously, just won a national championship a couple years ago. Um, I can see a lot of people licking their chops, looking to take that job.
Um, I think this is another situation where Michigan thinks they bigger than they are. I mean, they just think they're another team like Penn State that thinks they're just going to be able to poach anybody that they want. I mean, and that's clearly not the case. You got, you know, other coaches out there that we've seen get extensions because of this. Like we talk about Kenny Dillingham, Kalen DeBoer. I mean, these are coaches that like where they're at. I'm assuming. And then they're not just going to leave to go to another program when it looks like they have everything they need where they're at. Um, so it's really been interesting to see because you know you got all these Michigan people, these fans, and things like that. They think that they're just supposed to get things handed to them. That's not the case. You know, like they still don't have a coach. They fired their coach late in the cycle. And all the coaches are hired up. I mean, they're another one that probably could have got a Will Stein, but
I know
too
people are
late for
talking
that.
about, not to interrupt you, but people are talking about maybe
But
they did it on purpose to sign the kids and not tell them. Any thoughts on that?
I think that was part of it. I think that was part of it. I think we'll get into this a little bit more, but I think if they beat Ohio State, I don't think none of this scandal comes out.
Ooh.
Just my opinion. I think if Michigan was in that playoff, we don't hear about this scandal.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. But all right, let's switch gears here. Let's talk about these playoff games. Bowl season has started. Had a couple of bowl games this past weekend. Um, South Carolina State, Prairie View played in the Celebration Bowl. Boise State took on Washington in the Bucked Up LA Bowl. Currently, as we speak, Troy and Jacksonville State are on ESPN battling it out in the Salute to Veterans Bowl. Um, got a couple games tomorrow: Dominion versus South Florida, Louisville versus Delaware, Missouri State, Arkansas. A lot of G5 action leading up to Friday night, 8 p.m. ABC, an SEC matchup in the first round of the playoffs. Alabama on the road, Norman, Oklahoma, to take on the Sooners. A rematch from a game that we saw earlier this year, in a game where honestly Oklahoma should have maybe dominated a little bit more than they did. Obviously forced a multitude of turnovers in that game against Alabama, but should have had a boatload more, to be honest. And still kind of struggled to really put points up, even with all those turnovers. Now, Alabama has gone through a whole transformation, a whole roller coaster ride since that game. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. Um, but I think one thing that has kind of stood out about Alabama is their inability to run the ball. Cost them big time throughout the last couple of games of the season, and specifically in the SEC championship game where Georgia just kind of turned them one dimensional and really limited what they were able to do on offense. Oklahoma's defense is just as good, if not better, than Georgia's defense. Feels like they're going to be able to do a lot of the same things that Georgia did to Alabama, a lot of the same things that they did to Alabama earlier this year. But I will say it's hard to beat the same team twice in the same year. In any sport, in any game, in anything in life, it's hard to beat the same person, same team twice. It really is, especially when they have all that film. They have good coaching, they got good players. And Oklahoma has deficiencies themselves, obviously. Oklahoma's offense is remedial. It's less than remedial. it's all it's
It's
very
pretty
bad.
bad.
It's very bad. Yes. The quarterback play is well below average. Is a bit of a gamer. I'll give John Mateer that. He does seem to make plays at times that Oklahoma needs them, but on a down to down basis, when it comes to efficiency, Oklahoma's offense is the opposite of that. Alabama's defense is very efficient, is very dominant. So this is a very interesting matchup. I mean, the spread on this game is -1.5 in Alabama's favor. So they're favored by just 2 points, or not even 2 points. ESPN matchup predictor has this game 50.9% Alabama, 49.1% Oklahoma. So, yeah, pretty much as close as it gets. Vegas thinks it's close. Analytics thinks this game is going to be close. Steph, I'll shut up now. Take it away. What is your pick? Who do you think takes this game and advances to the next round of the playoffs?
I think it's going to be Alabama. Um,
Wow.
you know, if you look at how the first game went between the two, Alabama turned the ball over a lot. Oklahoma didn't have to drive the full length of the field to score points. Like you said, their offense is remedial. I mean, it's anemic. They are the Iowa of the SEC, and you can't count on turnover luck every single week. I think if Alabama just takes care of the football, that they're gonna end up winning this game. They might win the game 7-3. It might be a super boring, grind out, low scoring game. But I think I think if as long as Alabama doesn't turn the ball over, they're gonna win the game. Um, that's not the outcome I want to happen. I mean, I personally don't even think Alabama should be in the playoffs. You got blown out in the SEC championship. I thought it just means more in that conference, but turns out that it doesn't mean a goddamn thing. But that's neither here nor there. Um, so I just think Alabama, they have shown the ability to score more consistently than Oklahoma. And when you get into the playoffs, when you into these games against tough teams, I think that's important. Now, for Oklahoma to win, they need to have like a Georgia type performance against them, like in the SEC championship. If they hold Alabama to less than 10 points, they can win the game. I think that's probably around the threshold. Like if Alabama gets 17,
I think
I
it's a
think
race to 20.
Alabama's gonna
I
win.
think it's a race to 20,
Yeah,
first team to
I
20.
agree. I agree. I agree. Um, I think that that's probably about right. I mean, I don't really anticipate a lot of points being scored in this game. And Alabama, they're a weird team, man. They haven't gotten better as the season has gone on. I mean, they started off with a with probably the weirdest loss I've ever seen, losing to Florida State, which at the time we thought, okay, maybe Florida State would end up being good this year. But then as the season went on, we saw that in hindsight, Florida State actually sucks. And they probably should fire the coach, which I don't know why they haven't at this point. Um, that's a different topic. And then Alabama goes on to beat Georgia. But then if you look at how the rest of the season went, Georgia got a lot better and is one of the most dangerous teams in the playoffs. And Alabama seems like they plateaued and they were in dogfights with Auburn. I mean, I just don't understand this team.
Yeah,
So
this is a hard game to pick. I mean,
yeah, so
I'm going
I'm going
Bama's.
with Alabama.
Yeah,
But
me as
I,
well.
I think that whoever wins this game is going to lose to Indiana the next week.
Oh, for sure. Indiana is a machine. They're a unit.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I defense wins championships, and I think that is what got Oklahoma here. So salute to that unit. But they're not the only one with the defense. They're not the only one with the good defense. And as good as a defense is, it's not the same as it is in the pros as it is in college. Offense has a little bit of an advantage in college in most situations. The best college defenses still give up a couple of points, and if Alabama's able to find their moments, take advantage of their few opportunities, the maybe the two mistakes that Oklahoma might make on defense, the three mistakes they might make on defense, and make them pay for that, then I really have a hard time feeling like Oklahoma's going to have enough time, like you meant, have enough power on offense to keep up with Alabama. I think the key, like you mentioned, for Oklahoma, they need to get out in front of Alabama. If they get behind Alabama, they are cooked. They are absolutely not a team that can come back. They're just not built for comebacks. So if Alabama goes up by two possessions, chalk the game. I'm dead ass serious. Chalk the game. It's over. If Alabama goes up by two plus possessions and loses, fire the board at this point. But yeah, no, I just Oklahoma needs a quick start. They need to get ahead by a score or two, make Alabama feel the pressure, put their defense in advantageous positions and do that. Because if the game is on the line and they need to drive to score, I don't trust them. If the game is on the line and their defense needs to stop, I trust the defense. So gonna be a wild one. Should be competitive. Under the lights, Memorial Stadium, Oklahoma, Norman, Oklahoma, 51 degrees. Should be clear skies. Good game. Good matchup. And they always say, right, the teams that shouldn't get in, that do get in, are always the most dangerous, man. Always the most dangerous.
No, I don't think that's the case
All
in
right.
college football. Maybe NFL.
We'll see. I
You know,
mean,
them 9-7 Giants ended up winning the Super Bowl at one time, but
Oklahoma's about to find out. Uh, we'll see.
I just don't see it from Alabama, man.
All right, let's move on to Saturday. Starts off on ABC, ESPN, noon. We got Miami, another team that questionable. Not sure how they got in, but they are in. They travel to the 12th man to Kyle Field to take on Texas A&M. A&M is currently favored by 3.5 points by Vegas. According to ESPN Analytics, A&M is a 54.3% compared to Miami 45.7% to win. So pretty close, slight favor to A&M. And I think that is about right. I don't necessarily believe Miami should be in the playoffs, but I think they are at least a better team than Alabama has shown over
They
the
should
past.
be in over Notre Dame.
Yeah. I'm again. I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm just talking about Miami right now. They don't look bad. They've been playing good football. They are dangerous. They have players. Um, so this should be a test for A&M. But I think A&M is going to be very well equipped to handle Miami and pretty much stop what they want to do. Um, I think it's going to be a very fascinating matchup between the front seven of A&M and Miami's offensive line. Obviously, A&M, Cassius Howell himself, he's just a freak, but they have plenty of players up front that cause havoc, that pressure the quarterback. And Carson Beck is just not a good quarterback under pressure. I mean, not many quarterbacks are obviously good under pressure, but Carson Beck uh, is prone to, one turnover leads to two, and the two leads to three. If you get in his head, you rattle him a little bit. I definitely could see Texas A&M running away with this game a little bit. Um, I don't think Miami really has the horses on defense to handle what A&M has in terms of firepower on offense. So I just don't love the matchup for Miami, although I don't think they're as bad as they're probably going to look on Saturday, or as bad as A&M is probably going to make them look on Saturday. So with that being said, I have A&M covering. Um, yeah, I I think it's an interesting matchup for sure, but I think A&M is definitely the better team, and it's going to show.
And what's the spread on that?
Minus 3.5, so just over a field goal. A&M has to win by more than a field goal to cover.
A&M is favored by 3.5 at home, so they're basically saying on neutral they would be just about even. Um, man, that's an interesting. That's an interesting spread right there. Um, you know, I've been thinking about this game for a while now, but I really just I don't really know who I want to pick. Honestly, I don't really know who I want to pick because both of these teams are teams that are not immune to falling flat on their face.
Choking.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think turnovers are going to be, it's cliche to say, obviously, but I think turnovers are going to be a big factor in this game, and whoever is able to keep clean and not give the other team more opportunities is going to have a big advantage in this game. Because you're right, like this is given a goofy ass game. Marcel Reed is just doing stupid shit, and Carson Beck is throwing pick. Like it is
You know
interesting.
what? I'm going to
Don't
pick.
do it. Don't do it.
I'm going to pick A&M
Oh,
because
thank God.
I would never pick Miami. I would never pick Miami.
Yeah, I
I
just
would
don't
never pick
Mario
Miami
on
in
the
a
road.
close game.
Yeah, no.
I would never pick Miami. That's really all it is. Um, Crystal ball. I think we're gonna see the fall off. Um, I just I don't really see A&M kind of. I mean A&M. I don't really see Miami playing that well against a team like A&M, an environment like that. I don't see it. Um, yeah, like I don't trust Miami. I don't trust Miami. And in regards to A&M, I just think Mike Elko is a way better coach. I think I honestly I think you can trust Marcel Reed a little bit more at this point than Carson Beck. I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're definitely not. I mean, I personally feel like Marcel Reed could have maybe also been in New York. Maybe he was a snub. He's had a great year. He had a couple of moments that
Mm,
he maybe wishes he had back, but I think overall he's been one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. And he's definitely better than Carson Beck, Carson Beck.
Carson Beck.
Yeah, um, yeah. I think the advantage is definitely in A&M's favor. I mean, A&M is just better. They're just better than Miami in every facet. They're just a better version of Miami. Like Miami
Hmm.
wants to be what A&M is, and they're just not. Miami's not going to be able to run the ball. A&M might not really be able to run the ball either, to be honest. Um, but yeah, no, I don't, I don't rate Miami. They almost lost to DJ Fatway and Sunbelt Billy. So
I mean, that is true. That is true.
I mean, they went 10-2 in this ACC. Like, and, they didn't. No, this Miami team again. Similar to Bama, sometimes it's the teams that aren't supposed to be there that just start winning, and so maybe Miami gets a little bit of that, but A&M that loss to Texas, I think that was a good wake up call for them. I think A&M's been
Yeah.
arguably one of the top 3 to 5 teams all year long. One loss to Texas, who's also a borderline playoff team, is not going to change my mind. I mean, we know how weird those rivalry games get with the whole big brother little brother syndrome thing, and sometimes like you just lose them. I mean, it's not really an excuse. You need to win those, especially when you have been the better team all year long. So I understand why you have some reservations with Texas A&M and the whole choke artist kind of things, but I think it's still early in the playoffs, first round. I think they'll be ready. These next 2 games, don't got to spend too much time talking about them. Tulane travels to Ole Miss. Ole Miss favored by 17 and a half points. I'm actually going to take Tulane plus 17 and a half. Got to stick with my guy, G5 John. Think he's going to cook some shit up for that defense. They're going to keep it close and put out a valiant effort, take that loss. But obviously, Ole Miss is firecracker dangerous. They super explosive offense. Might be Tulane 50-0. Could definitely see that as a possibility as well. Steph, I'm assuming you're taking Ole Miss to cover.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Ole Miss to cover that. I think they're gonna be mad that they coach left. I
Yep.
think they're gonna be a team that's banding together,
Yep.
and it wouldn't surprise me if they really do some damage
And they have some
against Tulane.
good continuity between the coaching staff. Everybody is pretty much there besides Lane.
Right.
So Lane is the mastermind. He was, I think, calling the plays a lot of the time. Was he, or was Wise calling the plays?
I'm pretty sure it was Weiss that was calling the plays, but
Regardless, I mean,
I think it's gonna be either way. Is there's gonna be the continuity there.
it's going to look like the same Ole Miss team we've been pretty much watching all year, in my opinion. So at least in this game, um, they should be able to handle that. And then 7:30 p.m. TNT. They got your boys on HBO Max and True TV. That's nasty. Crazy. What happens to the
You're not
logo?
rocking with football on HBO?
I actually am. I actually am. It's just it's been a little bit jarring and strange to see some of the Big 12 games and some of the late night games on some of those channels, but hopefully they do a good job with the playoff game and the broadcast is all smooth. I don't know who is calling, who they have on their announcing team for the game, but hopefully, it's two people that can keep us engaged in this game because it might get ugly. Oregon obviously favored by 21 points according to Vegas. Um, I have Oregon obviously covering every bit of that. JMU, they're a good story. It's cool. And I put cool in quotes because I don't think it's really that cool that there's two G5 teams in, I guess. But yeah, hey, yeah. Oregon is Oregon, obviously. And JMU is JMU. So we all know how that's going to go. And you kind of mentioned it earlier. And I think you even talked about it last week, or maybe we just talked about this off cam, but um, specifically some of the wide receivers that have been hurt for the Ducks or haven't been playing, have been sidelined, have been seen practicing. You're of the opinion that you don't really want to see any of your um, injured or sidelined players come back next week. You'd rather just rest them up and pretty much play with
Well,
your back.
I want them to play, even
Okay.
if it's limited reps. I think they need to get in rhythm before we play a team like Texas Tech. But I'm just not getting my hopes up. And they're not going to say anything until we actually get to game time and we see people in uniform, dressed up. But you know, I'm not really getting like I said, I'm not getting my hopes up about anybody playing that's injured so far.
For sure. Um, And again, it's your Ducks, it's your team playing in a playoff game,
Right.
so it should be fun for all the Oregon fans and all the people interested in the Ducks to watch, anyways. So should be good competition, and yeah, that will wrap up our picks for the first round of the playoffs. Um, let's switch gears here. Let's get ready to close out the show with our favorite segment. Um, it's time for a special version of Clown of the Week. It's Clown of the Year. All right. Stuff besides Jerome Moore, do you have anybody else you wanna bring up for Clown of the Week, or should we just leave this special segment just towards him and talk about him
Yeah,
for?
I think Sharon Moore is a pretty good
Yeah.
clown of the week. I don't think we need multiple entries this week. I mean, wow. You want to talk about a clown? This guy is a bona fide clown, man. I mean, you want to give these people a breakdown of the timeline of what happened?
I mean, where do I begin? There's so much that we could be here for literally another hour and a half, 2 hours talking about it. But TLDR, if you don't know, I'm sure most of you guys already know all the details, but Sharon Moore was it was announced, or we all got the tweets, got the Pete Thamel notifications, the On3 notifications, whoever you follow, that Sharon Moore was fired. Kind of took the entire college football world by storm. Wow. Obviously, Michigan didn't have the year they wanted to. They did just come off of that L to Ohio State, but they had a true freshman quarterback, not looking too bad heading into next year. He gets fired. Everybody's scratching their head. What's going on? What's going on? A few minutes later, he's fired for cause. boom, alarm bells start going off, rumor mills start going, smoke starts being spread, and obviously, we come to find out that the reason for his dismissal was a relationship that he had with a subordinate on his staff. Um, Now, obviously, that kind of shocked everybody. A lot of people were getting jokes off. It was a crazy situation. Um, and then things got even crazier. Um, about an hour after the initial news of his firing dropped, ESPN, I mean, everybody, notifications talking about Jerome Moore is arrested. And that led to us finding out that he had some sort of altercation or some breaking and entering with his alleged mistress. He also had some kind of altercation with his wife where he threatened to kill himself and some other stuff. I don't know, maybe it was a police chase of some sort. A lot of stuff going on in that man's life, but eventually that led to him being arrested, detained, and booked into jail. I think he was held there for a couple of nights, and yeah, pretty much his whole world comes crashing down um, in the public eye, which kind of makes it even worse. Um, so tough situation, really, to joke about. I know sometimes Clown of the Week is an unserious segment where we just we make fun of and we just try to be light and not take things too serious. But this is a serious situation for sure. Um, Although I think a series of unserious choices led to this situation. He's definitely a clown. I think my biggest issue with this whole thing, right? Because his relationship, his personal life, again, is really none of my business. I don't give a damn about this, to be honest. Like, I mean, it sucks when any family, is broken apart or has issues like this, especially when there's kids involved and there's a marriage involved, right? You never want to see that for anybody, right? But again, his personal life doesn't matter to me. My issue is the ramifications and the repercussions that this is going to have on his community, on people like him. And if you guys don't understand what I'm saying, I'm talking about black head coaches in general. I think we're blessed to live in a time where minority and black coaches in specific are getting opportunities and are getting a lot more chances than they have in the past to be not only position coaches, but head coaches, which is definitely awesome to see. But I think if you are really looking with your eyes open and you really can understand the dynamics of the world that we still do live in today, it's pretty clear to see that there is still a major barrier and a lot of um, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, I'm, I forget the word exactly, but it's a word that we all know. Anyways, um, it just it kind of reaffirms what those kind of people want to say, and just gives them more reason, more of an excuse to look down on the next black guy, next black man that is qualified or that should be a head coach. Oh well, look at Jerome Moore, and again, it's not just a black coach thing, right? I mean, if he was a white guy, maybe he gets away with this. I mean, you talked about it. If they beat Ohio State, maybe he gets away with this, right? So I'm not trying to make this about a race thing. Well, he's fired because he is black. I'm trying to say this is going to affect future black coaches and give other people. Oh, well, look what happened with the Michigan coach. And Michigan is such a high profile job too. It's very disappointing. Um, and no one's perfect. We're all human. We all make mistakes. But I think with the old Spider-Man quote, with great power comes great responsibility. That is something that when you become a head coach at a university like Michigan, when you put yourself on this platform, when you take this job, you accept the responsibility that comes with it. And your mistakes are going to be, crucified. They're going to be put in the public eye more than the average person. That is kind of what you signed up for. So, fellas, take learn a lesson from this. this guy, if you haven't already. Mom, if you're listening to this, excuse my French. Don't think with your dicks. That shit will never get you anywhere in life. Go in the bathroom, go home, jerk off real quick if you need to. You have a clear mind because this guy's lost $22 million for getting fired with cause. Now, obviously, there might be a whole lawsuit. You might be able to recoup some of that because obviously supposedly they've known for a while, and there's a whole bunch of background drama with it. But this is just a crazy situation that could have been avoided. And then when you start to see the way that he was moving, having her on the sideline, walking around campus together, I mean, it is just like he was waiting for this to happen. He was asking for this to happen. Um, so, Jerome Moore, you, my friend, you're a special kind of clown. Um, Steph, what are your thoughts about this? Because I know you're a little bit more cruel than I am.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm just
Um,
being honest, man.
no, you definitely are. You
I
definitely are.
mean,
You
look,
say the hard part out loud, and you have no issue with saying it. So
yeah, I
I'm gonna.
really don't. And I mean, I know you say you're not gonna joke about it, but I'm gonna joke about it. You know
Yeah,
why?
go ahead.
Because
Go ahead.
I know he said he was gonna kill himself and all this other stuff, but I just find it funny how you said that as soon as the stuff that you've been doing for years comes to light. I mean, none of that was talked about just because. It's oh, now that we got caught, now that I got fired, now I'm gonna break into your house and try to make you feel guilty for something. Obviously she was a part of it and deserves blame herself as well. But it's like now you're just trying to bring other people down with you. So, I mean, it's really that simple. I mean, you're a coach at Michigan. You had a sexual relationship with a staffer, which that's not allowed at any job in the world, in any profession, in any office, at any company. If anybody is found out to be having a relationship with someone that works for them, they will be fired. I mean, we just saw that viral story that probably made Clown of the Week on this podcast of the guy that had his secretary at the Coldplay concert and they was on the kiss cam. I mean, this is the same sort of thing. Both of them was married, I'm pretty sure, and that's why when the camera got on them, they went running and hiding. I mean, it's the same exact story. You got this guy, Sharon Moore, coach of Michigan. I mean, it's just the details that are behind this is crazy, right? They say he like broke into her house or he entered her house without permission by opening an unlocked door or whatever. And they said he put a knife to his throat and said, "I'm gonna kill myself and make you watch." And then it came out that it was a butter knife. So it went from being like a story you have to take seriously to then being like funny again. It's like, oh, you grabbed a butter knife and put it to your neck. I mean, what do you like? And then he runs away on foot and then gets arrested at a church or whatever. I mean, this is so crazy, and I don't feel bad for you. I don't feel bad for any of them. I mean, then you look at the story, the behind the scenes details where I don't know if she got pregnant or was supposed or he made her get the abortion or she didn't want to get it and he sent a plan B pill to the job. It's just stupid behavior. Like, why would you send anything to the job? Um, it's just idiotic. It's just idiotic. So, I really don't feel bad for anybody. I don't feel bad for Cheryl Moore. And if you're him, you got to have more self awareness than that because let's be honest, they never wanted him as head coach. They only kept him because of what happened with the scandal and Jim Harbaugh had to leave. So they just kept him to keep some continuity with the team. And you go 7-5 the first year, miraculously beat Ohio State, so that buys you some goodwill. And then, they have a better season this year, but they don't make the college football playoff. But everybody in the building knew what was going on. Um, they were just choosing to look past it and ignore it. But if you're Sharon Moore, you need to understand, like, okay, I'm the coach, And if I want to keep this going, I need to be doing the right thing at all times because this is one thing that happens when you get to these high level jobs, especially people will look for any reason to get rid of you. And I don't know if I said it already, but personally, I think if they were in the college football playoff, if Michigan beat Ohio State again, we would not have known about this. We would not have known about this because they would have justified everything by saying we're winning, we need to keep this going. I mean, you look at the Brian Kelly situation. He is just universally known as an asshole, and people will tolerate that if you're winning. Now, when your team falls flat on their face and you don't live up to expectations, they will get rid of you, which is what LSU did. Because people would rather deal with someone with good character than deal with an asshole like Brian Kelly. And it's the same idea when it comes to Sharon Moore. Listen, we didn't really want you. We're using you in the meantime until we get the coach that we actually do want. And now that you have this dirt on you that we have, we can use that against you to get rid of you and get the guy that we really want. That's really what I think happened. I personally, don't I personally don't think that we ever find out about this if Michigan was in the college football playoff, if they beat Ohio State again. It is what it is. Like it's just so crazy. And then of course more stuff comes out about how he was DMing OnlyFans women and things like that on Instagram, and people even pointed out his following. Mind you, this is his public Instagram account where he's following like hundreds of these kind of women and trying to get with a bunch of these women. This is on public Instagram. So that's why it's clownery and on top of that, and it's funny because mind you, this is a married man. This is a married man with children. And this is the type of stuff he was doing. Now I'm questioning if his wife knew about it the whole time. I'm like, there's no way she didn't know about it this whole time. There's no way. The way they was gallivanting around the campus and stuff like that, they was on TV, these two. How he doubled her salary. I mean, this is just insane. This is just insane. I mean, it's got to be the craziest headline in years. I mean, and of course you had these people that were coming out saying, "Oh, it's because he's black" and things like. No, it isn't because you're black. We've seen this happen to white coaches before. Bobby Petrino, same exact situation. Was riding on a motorcycle with some young staffer, and if he never got in a motorcycle accident, we probably never find out about that situation. But they get into an accident. Now what happens if the cops coming? They ask, "Oh, who you with?" They see, "Oh, who are you with?" Then they say, "Oh, Bobby Petrino was on a motorcycle with some girl. Why was he with some girl?" Now people start looking. Oh, he was messing with this girl. Now we gotta get rid of him. Same old story, man.
Release the Lanestein files. Release
For
the
real.
Lanestein
Well, you know
files.
what? Lane's gonna get away with it because he's not messing with no Stafford. And that's the other reason why it's dumb. Because if you want to cheat on your spouse and everything like that, that's got nothing to do with your job. You probably gonna get divorced, or if they don't allow it, which I think in this case, I think she was allowing it. Just my personal opinion. But you know what I'm saying? That's not gonna affect your job. All that DM and the OnlyFans women and all that was not gonna affect your job. It's because you mess with a staffer. Like that's the part that really kills me. It's like if you wanted to be out here wilding, you could have been doing that with anybody, and you would still be the coach. They would not have any reason
He's
to
an
fire you
idiot.
for cause.
He's an idiot, a horny idiot.
It's just dumb. It's just dumb. And it's like, let's say you got fired. Let's say you got fired for performance and there was no scandal. You could still get a coaching job. You could coach O line somewhere for the rest of your career and maybe even work your way up to be a head coach again. Now that this happened, this man is never going to coach again. This man can't coach. This man can't be on TV. He cannot do nothing in the public eye, bro. Maybe even a private eye. Like, who is gonna hire this man after this scandal, bro? Like,
I mean, East
this
Mississippi
man just
Community
ruined
College,
his whole life, bro. His whole professional
independent
career.
community college. You gonna coach JUCO?
Even I mean, like, would even a D3 school hire you? You know what I'm saying? Like a juke, like would a school like that hire you
And
after a scandal like that?
his only chance is taking them to court, saying that and that they're not allowed to fire him for cause, and trying to get a couple mil from his contract back, and running off into the sunset, going to work at UPS. I don't know, be a consultant for a high school football. I don't know. He ruined his life, like you said. His
Yeah, I
At least his
mean,
public career, at least his career life, his career image. He
it's
ruined.
probably. I mean, yo, and it's like I don't I don't know if you could work at any school at this point, high school, because they gonna say like they could think of the reason not to hire you. Oh, you was messing with a staffer. Like, are you gonna be messing with the other teachers? Are you gonna be messing with whoever's around? You know what I'm saying? Like now that we know, especially besides that, just knowing that how he was behaving outside of the staffer, it's like guys just crazy, just freaked out, wilding,
Seems like he's a sex addict or a porn addict or something. Yeah, he got some kind
just
of
crazy,
issues. Yeah,
just crazy. And you know that's why it's important to be a family man. That's why it's important to do the right thing because people can't just get rid of you too. Even if they want to get rid of you, it's hard for people to get rid of you if they got no dirt on you in the first place. You gotta behave the right way, do the right thing, be a person of high moral character, be a person of integrity. Because then they can't say nothing. If they want to get rid of you, they gotta get rid of you. They gotta pay your buyout, and then you can bounce back from that. Because if you
look at
was
Billy
winning and they
Napier,
got
man. Look at Billy.
exactly. I mean, look, he got another head coach job. He'll probably be successful at JMU. Maybe we see him at a Power Four job again.
Now look at Mel. What's his face?
Mel Tucker's another one.
Tucker.
He'll never coach again.
He
You can
hasn't.
never, you
He
can't
hasn't.
coach in college, high school, NFL, none of it. You can't even coach in Pop Warner. They're not gonna let you volunteer around
Because you're
children
gonna be paying
and
the
the
mamas,
moms and stuff.
the kids' moms and shit.
Yeah, they're not gonna let you be around the moms.
Oh
It's
man, he's
crazy,
just
bro.
freaked out, bro. He's
It's
just the freak.
crazy.
Oh,
The only
freaky
people I feel
stuff.
bad for is his wife and children.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if she was allowing it, because it's like it's one thing to be allowing it, but now that it's a public scandal, it's
It's
like,
embarrassing, right? It's
yeah,
still,
it's like, damn, like,
and she's not the famous one. She should be subject to the public
right,
scrutiny and all that.
right. And then the
For sure.
kids, I mean, it's
Yeah,
Christmas is coming up. They ain't getting no gifts.
for sure.
They
And
ain't
again,
getting no gifts.
we didn't talk about the whole situation. I mean, if you want to hear about all the details, you can
I mean, we
Google it.
kind of laid it out. I
Later.
mean,
But
we
we did
said
lay
what
it out.
happened.
I was just saying for general, like if
Yeah, we
there's a
say he
lot
was
of crazy
DMing
stuff.
OnlyFans. He put a knife
Yeah,
to his throat. I mean, what else was we missing?
I mean,
It's like
yeah, it's a
he was
crazy,
in jail. I mean, there was the video of him in jail. I mean, it's crazy. Like
crazy.
24 hours before that, this man was doing a press conference as the head coach. The scandal comes out. This man's in jail, bro, in the white outfit. Jesus Christ,
Yeah, man,
man.
that's
And
tough.
the saddest part about it too is he's what, 38 years old?
Yeah, he's
You
young.
supposed, bro, you have half a career left. You're not even 40 years old. You're supposed to work another 20 years plus.
Coaching football too. Not even like having one of the best jobs ever.
Right? Like you could have been an O line coach somewhere forever. You could have been O line coach making good money. You could have been making 100, 200 grand a year coaching O line at one of these colleges. That's over with, bro. And you would still be a millionaire if you manage your money right. Making 100 grand a year, absolutely, you would be a millionaire. You manage your money right.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I got a question, but I can't ask you while we're live. I gotta wait till afterwards, but so remind me once we end. But
All right. I mean, I think we pretty much hit everything in regards to this clown of the
yeah,
year. I mean,
for
I
sure.
thought after the Keishon Butte situation, I thought we wasn't gonna hit nothing crazier than that.
It's it's sad, man. Like, why does it always have to involve like sex of some sort? Like, why can't like you
Because
guys always
that's
get in
that's
trouble?
what gets people in trouble. That's what gets people in trouble is
These women,
drugs, sex,
yeah,
drugs, and rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what gets people in trouble. You
yeah,
trying to live that rock star lifestyle, but you supposed to be at an academic
athlete,
institution. You can't have both.
right?
You know what I'm saying? You want to be a rock star, you better start playing the guitar, because you can't be around the schools and the sports and all that doing the rock star lifestyle, man.
All right. It's getting late on our end, so it's time to wrap up the show here. We appreciate everybody for tuning in to this episode of Road to Glory. Make sure, if you're not already, you subscribed on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. Again, we're live on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel to get that notification if you want to listen to the audio live when we do record. That's an option. We're gonna get some visuals to you guys, hopefully to start next year, maybe towards the end of this year if we're able to figure out some stuff. But definitely the start of next season will be visual full time. But yeah, you can get the audio live on YouTube, or you can listen to the rerun on YouTube. Just search the Pigskin Live, and we should be there. And then again, we have audio versions on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. So if you have an iPhone, a smartphone of any sort, you can listen to us there. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at the Pigskin Live. And yeah, we will be back next week to talk about all the playoff games that are going to take place this weekend. Enjoy the football, enjoy the bowl games, enjoy your holidays. We will see you guys next time. Peace.